Good evening, everyone. As you walked in, you waited in a line today, so I appreciate your patience, but we were serenaded in a great way, so hopefully you enjoyed that music as you were coming in. I just wish to extend a nice warm welcome to everyone present, the board, the superintendent, and I. We're pleased that you're here. And we're here to celebrate student achievement, celebrate you all. We're so thankful for our guest here to lead us as well in a couple different things. So we're going to review some information. We're going to make some policy decisions. We have a public hearing tonight as well. All these things related to the effective operation of the Polk County School Board. So I would like to call the December 10th, 2024 regular school board meeting to order. So at this time, I would ask that we all stand, and Board Member Keys is going to lead us in our invocation. And if you could please remain standing after the pledge, or for the pledge as well.
Let's bow our heads together. Heavenly Father, we just come to you tonight, and we thank you for bringing us all here safely. As we come upon the holiday season, we want to be mindful of you and all the things you bestowed upon us. And we want to remind, we just want to say to love one another in this season coming up and to treat each other with respect and remember that there are things out there in the world that we need to be very fortunate for and living where we do. And we thank you for those things. We thank you for your favor. We ask your blessings upon this meeting tonight, that you allow us to work in your will, Lord Father, and that we would seek you out in all things that we do, Lord, and always be mindful of those and how it would affect others. We thank you for this opportunity to meet together freely. We pray that you all will go home tonight blessed, and we pray that you would protect us going home, and we thank you for all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. So if you could come forward and lead us in the pledge this evening, Mr. Colton. Allegiance to the flag of the United
States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. So if everyone can go ahead and be seated, except our guest. Wow. You're so tall, too, man. We're so glad that you're here with us. And we just have, we had a chance to read your bio. Yeah. Thank you, sir. So we had a chance to read your bio. We just got a couple questions for you. So first of all, introduce yourself. Anyone that you brought with you tonight?
I brought my mom, my principal, and my teacher.
All right, very good. So if y'all could just stand up real quick so we can see you and give you some recognition as well. And okay, so what grade are you in?
Fourth.
Fourth grade. And your school is?
Bartow Elementary Academy.
Wow, Bartonian. All right, very good, very good. Tell us something about you, some hobbies that you have or some interest.
I want to be an FBI agent when I grow up.
Whoa, man.
And one of my hobbies is saltwater fishing.
Indeed, indeed. There's a lot we can unravel with that. Okay, so thinking about the FBI agent, now there was something else in your bio too. So I don't know, what is it? It's things that you love to do as well. Besides fishing, FBI, there was something else that you like doing. Is it a game?
Yeah.
What game is that? Is it a board game too?
I love board games.
Yeah? Is there a particular board game that you like to play?
I like the marble game.
Oh, yeah, indeed. How about somebody said that you like chess? Oh, very good. So I was thinking about chess and like an FBI agent and how like all that works well together. Okay, if you had a chessboard in front of you, what would be the first move that you would make?
My pond.
Ooh, very nice, very nice. All right, so you like strategy? Man, that's going to go so far, especially working in the FBI as well. That's pretty amazing. Okay, so saltwater fishing. Is this bay fishing, deep water fishing? What is it?
Bay fishing.
Bay fishing. All right. And any particular fish that you like to catch?
Snook.
Whoa, all right. I think we've got some people that like to fish up here. Yeah, Superintendent Hyde is a huge fisherman as well. Do you have a question for him as well? Oh, why? Yeah, indeed, indeed. Okay, so favorite subject in school?
Social studies.
Social studies. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to look, but I was wondering, okay, at this point in the year, what unit would you be working through in social studies? Where are you at in social studies right now, topically? I know it's a hard question, but you don't have to answer it right now.
Yeah.
That's all right. I mean, we've got the break ahead of us. You're thinking about the break more so than social studies right now, I would assume. Yeah. Okay, so your biggest dreams. So when you say, I guess, what are those biggest dreams for your future?
I want to be like my dad when I grow up.
Wow. Oh, that's amazing. That's a great answer. Okay, so last question for you. What is it that you like best about Bartow Elementary Academy?
Mostly my field days.
Nice, very good. Field days. Well, Mr. Colton, we're so thankful that you joined us here today and finish strong. You've got the break that's right around the corner, and I hope you get to enjoy your Christmas break as well. You did get a coin from the school board member that represents your district, so we're so thankful for that. Hold on to that, a great memory. Guests, thank you for being with us here as well. So I know that we've got a lot of things going on right here, but is there a recommendation as far as picture, like location-wise? We'd love to have a picture of you so we can have it on our record that you joined us tonight. So Mr. Colton, thank you for being with us tonight. So if we could give Mr. Colton a round of applause. Do it afterwards? Perfect. All right, very good, very good. All right, board members, the next item is our acceptance of the agenda. This is the first item on our agenda tonight, is to accept the agenda. Superintendent Hyde, are there any revisions to the agenda as printed?
Mr. Chair, members of the board, members of the community and staff, thank you for being here. Yes, there are several revisions. Item E, number 1, approval of minutes for the November 19, 2024 school board meeting. Those minutes were updated. Item K, number 1, Project C-00334, Shelley Boone Middle School. 3, portables moved to an action agenda item. Item K, number 4, Alpha Facilities Condition Assessment, attachment was added. Item L, number 1, non-instructional personnel actions, attachment was added. Item L, number 2, administrative personnel actions, attachment was added. Item M, number 1, non-instructional personnel actions, attachment was added. Item P, number 3, out-of-state field trips, an item was added. Item S, number 2, non-union group raises, attachment was added. Item S, number 3, 2025 Polk County Public Schools Legislative Platform Agenda, attachment was added and updated. That concludes changes to the agenda.
Thank you, Superintendent.
Yes,
So at this time, the chair will entertain a motion to accept the agenda for December 10th, 2024 with the noted revisions. Do I have a motion and a second? All right, I'm sorry, what, the motion? All right, Mr. Nolte made the motion and Mr. Sharpless seconded. Just so we all know, board members, our technology is down, so we're gonna slowly work through our voting process tonight, make sure that we're capturing all that. So the motion on the floor is to accept the December 10th school board meeting agenda as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye. 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 All those opposed, that would be the same sign. All right, and that motion carries. Next up would be our special recognitions, and we're here to recognize these guests. So Superintendent, would you lead us through our special recognitions?
Yes, sir. At this time, I'd like to invite. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to invite Beth Cummings, Senior Director for Fine Arts, to come forward and introduce today's holiday music performers.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for letting us be here. Good evening to you. It is my privilege to introduce to you the Winter Haven High School String Ensemble under the direction of Josh Miller. They'll be playing 2 selections for you tonight, and I won't tell you what they are because you will recognize all of them, And if you don't know the names of them, then you need to go Google it and find out what the name is. You will know them, though. So please enjoy.
But,
All right. Yeah, let's stand.
well, with all due respect, that's not all you have. But before you leave, if each of you wouldn't mind coming up, we've split them between Ms. Wyatt and Ms. Miller. We have a small token of our appreciation for you being here this evening. We love finding creative ways to open up our meetings. And with the season and the holidays upon us, you all were amazing. I want to say thank you. It always brings a smile to my face. I want to say thank you to Beth. Amazing job that she does to continue to support the fine and performing arts in our school district, which is part of our overall mission to develop the whole child. So thank you so much. And great job, ladies and gentlemen. We're very proud of you. You're amazing. By the way, they're the first ones in the entire district to receive these. So,
Oh, yeah.
and they are specific to the arts. So,
Very nice.
board coin. That way, in case it's misspelled, it's on you.
Yeah.
Of course. I will get you one. I took all the ones out of the case I had up here. I'm sorry.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, no, I'd be happy to.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Mr. Miller needs one too.
Thank you, Miss Miller. He was in the count. But I may have miscounted, so I'll double check. Nathan? Nathan, could you make sure that Beth gets one? Ms. Cummings, one of the coins, the arts coins, please? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Colton and family. All right. Board members, the next item up is new administrators. Superintendent Hyde, would you lead us through our next item?
It would be my pleasure. The first administrator we want to recognize is Mr. Christopher Hanna, Acting Director for Maintenance, being promoted to Director of Maintenance. Yes, sir.
Members of the board, Superintendent Hyde, thank you for the introduction. Give you a little bit of background about myself. I am a Polk County Public Schools graduate, Lake Wales High School, class of '93. I'll let you do the math. My beautiful wife, Tracy, is a Polk County girl. I married her about a little over 25 years ago. We have two beautiful children, my son, Paul, and my daughter, Aaliyah. Adopted them out of foster care. My daughter, Aaliyah, attends Chain of Lakes Elementary, and we're so grateful for the support that she receives at Chain of Lakes Elementary. We have both worked for the district for 20 plus years. I am a licensed master electrician. I was an electrician for the district for the first 14 plus years in the maintenance department of my career with the school board. In the last 5 plus years, I've been in maintenance administration. I want to talk just a little bit about the gentleman that I'm replacing. I'm hesitant to say replacing because I truly feel that Dwight Marsh is an irreplaceable individual. I am so grateful for his leadership, grateful for the opportunity to work alongside him, to work beneath him for most of my school board career. And I wish him the best in his well-deserved retirement. I'm thankful for his service to the district, for his leadership, and for his dedication. So thankful for him. I know that I have a challenging task in leading the maintenance department moving forward, but I believe that our maintenance team is staffed with well-qualified individuals who have done an excellent job of maintaining well over what we are recommended to have maintained in square footage for the past 10 plus years. And I am grateful for them. I'm aware of the challenge that I have, but I know that I'm ready to face them because of the confidence that I have in our maintenance team and because of the faith that I have in my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, who I believed called me to and placed me in this position. So thank you all very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What most people don't realize is he's stepping into one of the most difficult roles in the entire school district, because that is my primary contact. So at 4 o'clock in the morning, when power is out somewhere or water's out and we're having to problem solve, Chris is taking over for Dwight Marsh, who had that responsibility. Plus, he has the responsibility that as I'm visiting schools and I start texting them photos and things that need to be repaired on our campuses, they are quick to respond. So they always know when I'm out visiting schools because they get inundated. But Chris has a tough job. We've met. I'm really excited to have him. Love his story for him and his family. Very excited. And people don't realize that in order for Chris to take this position, his spouse had to change departments and take another role. But they believe so strongly in his opportunity. So thank you very much, and thank you as well. And we wish you the best of luck. You're going to be amazing. Thank you, sir. Next, we have Shannon Gillespie, Acting Assistant Director for Student Services, being promoted to Assistant Director of Student Services.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to be here. So it is with great enthusiasm that I accept the appointment of Assistant Director of Student Services. And first, I want to thank the board for this recognition and share a quote that sums up my passion and drive to support students and their families. So this is on my signature line of my email and has been for probably the last 10 plus years. So a quote from Jane Addams stated, "America's future will be determined by the home and the school. The child becomes largely what he is taught. Hence, we must watch what we teach and how we live." As a current administrator with Polk County Public Schools, I have kept this quote close to my heart for many years, as I've had to make daily decisions that impact our students. I have learned through my journey so far that it takes integrity, perseverance, and collaboration to make gainful strides. My goal in this new role is to facilitate positive growth within student services within the department and ensure that we can continue to be a department that answers the call to support our students, family, and community. My success as a leader so far could only be possible through support of my supervisors and colleagues who have stood beside me daily, the school social workers who have continued to rise to the occasion, and of course, my devoted family who continues to love me, knowing that I set high expectations. Thank you again for this opportunity.
Yes. Congratulations again. And our last administrative change is Ms. Celeste Stewart, Principal Alta Vista Elementary, is being transferred to Principal on special assignment within the Professional Development Department. She is unable to be with us this evening. That concludes administrators this evening, sir.
All right, thank you, Superintendent Hyde. Thanks for everyone that joined us tonight. Just think about the students as well. They've had a busy day, and then to carry on their day to spend time with us is quite amazing. So thank you for being with us tonight. All right, so next item on our agenda is public comment on agenda items for us to be voted upon. And we do have 3 options for you to comment tonight. However, no one signed up to speak on agenda items. So we will now move down our agenda to our approval of the minutes. So board members, we now need to approve 2 sets of minutes. The first set of minutes is for the November 19th school board meeting. The chair will entertain a motion slowly to accept the November 19th, 2024 school board meeting minutes as written. So do I have a motion and a second?
So moved. Second.
All right, Ms. Fields made the motion and Mr. Sharpless seconded. Any discussion, board members, on those first set of minutes? All right, seeing none, I'll call for a vote at this point. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, and that motion carries. So the second set of minutes is for the November 19th, 2024 work session meeting. The chair will entertain a motion to accept the November 19th, 2024 work session meeting minutes as written. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Fields made the motion and Mr. Keys seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none at this point, I'll call for a vote on that. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And that motion carries. Moving down to our consent agenda. The next item is approval of today's consent agenda. The chair will entertain a motion to accept the December 10th, 2024 consent agenda as printed. Do I have a motion and a second?
Second.
Ms. Wyatt made the motion and Ms. Miller seconded. Any discussion on our consent agenda? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote at this point. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And that motion carries. Moving down to our action agenda tonight, we have S1, and this is entitled Settlement of 2024-25 AFSCME Salary Agreements. That would be custodial, maintenance, and vehicle services employees and school nutrition assistants. And I've asked Mr. Warren if he can speak to this to set these 2 next action items up, S1 and S2. So he'll offer a summary, and then I'll look for a motion from you board members.
Thank you, Board Chair Allen. Tonight before you, the superintendent and staff are pleased to recommend approval of the collaborative tentative agreements for custodial maintenance, electronic equipment, and repair support, meaning EARS, vehicle services and warehouse employees, as well as school nutrition assistants. The parties reached a tentative salary agreement on November the 14th, 24, after 1 session. The results of the Saturday, December the 7th, 2024 employee ratification vote were in favor of ratification of the agreements before you. AFSCME Local 2227 represents approximately 1,760 employees under the custodial, maintenance, and vehicle services and school nutrition assistant collective bargaining agreements. In totality, 963 folks are represented as custodial, electronic equipment repair and support, maintenance trades, vehicle services, and warehouse employees. 797 represented as school nutrition assistants. Following school board approval, the tentative salary increases would be retroactive to July 1, 2024. Additionally, on October 22nd, 2024, the school board approved and ratified the 24-25 salary settlement for bus drivers and bus attendants, retroactive to July 1, 2024, and the retroactive salary increases were reflected in the November paychecks. Additionally, because of the enhancement by a percentage increase to the salary grids for the groups before you, these increases are to be provided upon ratification in the January paychecks for these represented groups before you this evening. The substantive revisions would be for custodial, electronic equipment repair, and support maintenance trades, vehicle services, and warehouse employees is that the day custodian starting wage increased from $15.15 an hour to $15.72 per hour. The maintenance trades and warehouse workers will see a salary increase anywhere between 3.5% to 5.25%, depending on the position and salary level that they hold. For school nutrition assistants, the starting hourly rate will increase from $15.25 to $15.78 per hour. Our most experienced employees at the top of the 24-25 salary level will see an increase of 6.5%, earning $18.37 per hour. The financial impact of the proposals before you for Ask Me this evening are $2,335,432. I will now transition to the non-union salary increase summary. These agreements, or these proposals that are before you, again, would be effective July 1, 2024 for all non-union salary scales and school administrator salary scales being increased by 4%, a straight 4% across those salary grids. There will be no level movement. The staff represented by this proposal total 1,106 employees with a cost of $3,273,222. Again, these being an enhancement to the salary schedules, increasing a percentage by those levels. Again, these raises will be retroactive to July 1 and provided in the January pay for these individuals as well. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Warren. So, as noted, following our approval this evening, the attached tentative salary increases become retroactive to July 1st, 2024. So, at this point, you've heard the details on S1. So, the chair will now accept a motion.
So moved.
All right, Mr. Keys made the motion, and Mr. Nolte seconded. So we have a motion and a second. Board members, any discussion at this point? Seeing none, I'd like to call for a vote. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, and that motion carries. S2 is non-union group raises. And again, you just received the summary from Mr. Warren. Does anyone wish to make a motion to approve this item?
So moved. Second.
All right, Ms. Wyatt made the motion, and Ms. Fields seconded it. So we have a motion and a second. Any discussion, board members, on S2? Seeing none, I'd like to call for a vote. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? And that motion carries. We are now down to S3, 2025 Polk County Public Schools Legislative Platform. We did a work session on that item today. So the recommended action is to approve the 2025 Legislative Platform as presented earlier today with those modifications that were presented. Does anyone wish to make a motion to approve this item?
So moved.
Second.
All right, so I heard Mr. Sharpless made the motion and Ms. Fields seconded. Any discussion on this item?
Yes, I just want to point out, for those that weren't able to see our work session earlier today, I want to thank Board Member Fields for emphasizing that we add onto our legislative platform, empowering districts to address chronic absenteeism by initiating intervention processes after 10 absences to align with the Florida School Board Association's legislative platform as well. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yes, sir. You're welcome.
Any other discussion, board members, at this point? Seeing none, I'd like to call for a vote. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? And that motion carries. We are down to S4, which is the Polk Value Adjustment Committee. The recommended action is to approve the appointment of Travis Keys, our newly appointed school board member, to the Polk Value Adjustment Committee. Does anyone wish to make a motion to approve this item?
Move to approve.
Ms. Miller made the motion, and Mr. Nolte seconded. She happily made that motion. We're thankful that you are willing to serve in that capacity, for sure. All right, seeing no discussion on that one, I'd like to call for a vote. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, and that motion carries. Well done. Look forward to hearing updates along the way.
Thank you.
S5 is the Polk Vision Board of Directors. The recommended action is to appoint Lisa Miller to serve in that role with Polk Vision Board of Directors. Does anyone wish to make a motion to approve this item?
So moved.
Second.
All right, I heard Mr. Keys make the motion, and then I heard Ms. Fields second that. Do we have any discussion on that one? All right, no discussion, and congratulations on that. So I would like to call for a vote at this point, actually. So those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And that motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Miller, for representing Polk on that board. We are down to S6. This is project number C-00334, Shelley Boone Middle School, and entitled 3 Portables. The recommendation is to approve this for the amount of $725,406. Does anyone wish to make a motion to approve this item?
Move to approve.
Second.
All right, Ms. Miller made the motion, and Mr. Sharpless seconded. Any discussion? All right. So just board members, just to bring it forward, I did pull this item off the consent agenda item. I've heard Ms. Fields speak in opposition to portables as well. I know we're experiencing exponential growth in that area. And my opinion on this one, looking at this one, I just felt that I wasn't comfortable in spending $750,000 on this item because within 3 miles of Shelley Boone Middle School, we just constructed a K-8. And if you remember, that K-8 is temporarily serving for the modernization of an elementary school. That's housed in that K-8 school right now. And I'm looking at that school with a lot of empty space as well, and I can't rationalize that we're spending $750,000 on that portable when we have empty classroom space, brand new empty classroom space, 3 miles away from Shelley Boone Middle School. And I just want it to be on record that I'm not in support of portables, and I'm going to vote in opposition of this one tonight, and that's why I pulled it from the consent. I know we're experiencing growth there, but on top of that, in 2023, we approved the portable city, in a sense, at Haines City High School, and cumulatively, we're spending well over $3 million on portables at Haines City High School, and now we're placing something at Shelley Boone Middle School when we have empty, brand new classroom space 3 miles away. So I know we're in the midst of looking at a high school in that vicinity, and I just want it to be on record. I'm not going to support the portables here, but I'm also not going to support the renewal of the portable leases that happens in 3 years from now. Well, actually 2 years, because we approved that in 2023. So in 2026 is when we're going to be asked to renew the lease of Haines City portables. So that I just want to get that on the record, and that would be my position. So I'm not going to vote in favor of this item tonight. So, all right, I see other discussion. Ms. Miller, you were recognized.
Thank you, Chair. And I understand the concern of portables. I remember the first contracts I went through as a new board member. But my question is, as superintendent, what would happen to this? Where would we put the students from Boone unless we asked them to withdraw to go to a different school? Like, where would we put them if there's not space for them currently at their school?
You'd have to cap enrollment and move them to the next closest school. However, as board members know, Elbert Elementary School was temporarily housed there. Their construction should terminate or culminate at the end of the school year, so they'll be transitioning back to their original site that has been completely redone. And in that school, we've already had several meetings about this. about timelines and process to hire an administrator and assistant principal so they can begin the process of looking forward to staffing that school, what that zoning might look like. I can't, while that may occur, there is no guarantee that it will impact Boone at all. Those families will have a choice to stay in that school. I will not bring a recommendation to the board that those students be forced to transition to another school if they've already been in attendance at Boone. This board historically has never supported that. So, I mean, the space may be available, and we need to have further conversation about Scenic Terrace. Same thing's true with Haines City. If the high school's not completed by that time, and to be clear, we didn't create that. We replaced older, outdated, ineffective portables with those portables to make sure we could meet capacity requirements and put those students in better spaces, because these are modulars and not the old school traditional portables most people are familiar with. So there are options that the board will explore with me beginning in January as we talk about Scenic Terrace further, and then we'll see where we are in January with the proposed Point Siena area high school proposals.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Fields, you're recognized.
Thank you. And that was going to basically be my question to the superintendent as far as explaining the rationale of the portables. And so I'm making sure I'm understanding that if we didn't approve these, that could be a problem with the kids that are currently at Elbert? At Boone.
Because, again, removing the portables makes great it's fiscally responsible, makes a great deal of sense. I despise portables. It's a solution to the speed in which our community has grown. It's your best option moving forward. However, not authorizing those portables will not guarantee that those students will attend Scenic Terrace. Those students may choose to stay at Boone. They may choose to go someplace else. So, again, not approving the portables will not necessarily solve this problem. It would prevent any new incoming students from attending there if that's what the board opts to do as far as rezoning that campus for Scenic Terrace, which is intended to be a K-8.
Okay, thank you for the
Yes, ma'am.
clarification. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fields. All right, board members, I would like to now call for a vote on this. We've got a motion and a second, and we've had discussion. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. And that motion carries. All right, next we will go into our public hearing. At this point, I now open the public hearing, and the first order of business is any comments on public hearing agenda items. We've not received any comment cards on this, but I do want to bring forward to you this agenda item. We have work sessioned on this twice now. So the first time that we work sessioned on this list of policies would have been September 24th, 2024, and the second block of policies would have come to us on October 22nd, 2024. So this would be your opportunity now, board members, per our procedural change, for you to offer any amendments or changes to the following policies. So any discussion or amendments, board members, at this time on this block of policies? All right, I see no further comments. So this will come back to us in January as an action item. So you'll have an opportunity to vote on it at that point. And we can still remove and go through the rulemaking process on those policies if needed. Okay? At this time, I'll then close that public hearing on December 10th. And the next item on our agenda is our superintendent's report. Superintendent, do you have a report for us tonight?
Yes, good evening. Turning off my own mic. Good evening, board members. The next meeting and work session will be held on January 14th, 2025. The work session will begin at 9 a.m. The meeting will be held at the district office located at 1915 South Laurel Avenue in Bartow. I want to say congratulations, although if I say too much, I'm going to steal some thunder from some of our board members, so here's what I will say. I will wish Lakeland a great deal of luck as they travel to Miami for Thursday to play St. Thomas Aquinas, a school that I grew up in Miami hating, and I hope that they beat them severely. Lakeland had an amazing game last Friday. If you missed it, you missed a good one, triple overtime. Comeback win, absolutely amazing. Proud of our students, proud of our staff, proud of the legacy that's been developed there. And proud of the fact that, those students go into the hospital every single game and visit with the young children there and the staff there and try and give them some encouragement. And then throughout the game, at one point in the game, they actually dim the lights and everybody turns on their cell phone camera lights and we wave to the students and the staff up there in the building. And I think that's an amazing tradition. Winning's great, but that's a much better experience for our kids to learn compassion and empathy for others and be supportive. So I'm very proud of that tradition. I wish them a great deal of luck. But we have a lot to celebrate as a district. But again, I have found that when I speak first, I typically steal some of your points of topics and things that you'd like to cover. So I'm going to leave it at that. But again, they're on the road and wish them a great deal of luck and wish them safe travels. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Superintendent Hyde. Next, we'll move to our attorney's report. Mr. Murphy, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Board Chair and board members, Superintendent. We have, I would like to request authority to advertise a public hearing to be held on January 28, 2025, during the school board's regularly scheduled meeting for policy updates presented during the November and December board work sessions for rule development. The text of all proposed rules scheduled for the public hearing will be available at the time that the notice is published, and in general, the policies deal with the policies that were presented at the November 19th work session, 0615 regarding meetings, 5330.01 regarding self-administered medication, 5610 regarding removal of school suspension, disciplinary placement, and expulsion of students, 5611 due process rights, and then the policy that was presented today was dealing policy number 2421, career and technical education. So these are, again, as the board chair has noted, contingent potentially at the public hearing as to potential amendments or changes. But if I could have you consider a motion as recommended, I would appreciate it.
Great, thank you, Mr. Murphy. So the recommended motion is to approve to advertise the public hearing for policy updates that were presented at the November and December school board work sessions. You've heard the recommended motion. The chair welcomes a motion at this time.
So moved.
Mr. Keys made the motion and Ms. Wyatt seconded. So we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, I'd like to call for a vote at this time. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And that motion carries. Anything else, Mr. Murphy?
Only other than to wish everyone a very happy holiday season and to wish everyone a wonderful and prosperous new year as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Murphy. At this time, we have our auditor's report. So, Ms. Matthews, thank you for being here. You are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This evening, I'm bringing to you a recommendation for the appointment of Mr. Russell Mouton to the Audit and Finance Committee. He is being nominated by School Board Member Travis Keys to fill the vacancy in the District 2 seat. Mr. Mouton is a Senior Vice President and Commercial Real Estate Lender at South State Bank since 2012. He has over 38 years of experience in banking and accounting. He brings exceptional organization, analytical, and interpersonal skills to the committee. Mr. Mouton has a Bachelor of Science degree in Business Administration from the University of Louisiana. Some of his present and past community positions include, and it's a long list, serving as member and past president of Haines City Economic Development Council, Northeast Polk Chamber of Commerce Government Affairs Committee Chairman, Polk Career Academies Advisory Board, Polk Vision Talent Pipeline Committee, Leadership Polk Class 12, Haines City EDS Treasurer, Northeast Polk Roadway Advisory Committee, Leadership Haines City Class of 2017, and Haines City Chamber of Commerce Ambassador. Mr. Mouton's 3-year term will commence with your approval. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Matthews. So the chair will entertain a motion at this time.
So moved.
All right, Mr. Keys made the motion and Mr. Sharpless seconded. I would like to yield the floor to Mr. Keys for an item of discussion.
Just want to say that when serious, and thank you, Ms. Matthews, for that, serving on that committee for 6 years, and then most recently before my election to the board as its chair, there is a level of professionalism that I think is second to none throughout the county, and having Mr. Mouton as being, as we've heard, actively involved in the community, and adding to that his financial expertise, spending over 38 years in banking now, working his way from counting coins in the vault all the way up to his position today as a senior vice president, I think fits that committee nicely. And it's also, I laugh because when I served on the committee, I was the only non-CPA on the committee. And so Mr. Mouton will join those ranks, and I think it's helpful to have someone that has that business experience, but not only that, the community experience. And I will tell you that sometimes the challenges on these committees is showing up. And Mr. Mouton, by his service to the community, has shown us that he shows up. I've spoke with him, and he is excited to serve. And so my recommendation for him to that committee, I didn't have any second thoughts about.
Indeed. Thank you, Mr. Keys. Ms. Wyatt, you're recognized.
Thank you. I just want to commend Travis on a huge win with getting him to say yes, because I've had the opportunity to serve with him on Talent Pipeline, and he truly does care about this community and care about the kids, and I think it's a huge win and asset to get to have him on that committee. So good work.
All right, very nice. And I would say thank you for your service on that committee. Ms. Matthews did issue a kind letter as you were rolling off of that committee. I know we went through committee appointments today, and I almost put you back in the committee as our board representative, but I'm like, he needs a break. Indeed. So, all right, so now I'd like to call for a vote. Actually, let's see. Stand by.
I just wanted to add something else.
Yes.
Mr. Mouton wanted to be here with us tonight. However, he had cataract surgery yesterday, so he asked me to send his apologies for not being able to come and speak before the board, but he is not able to attend tonight for that reason. Sorry.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Keys. So I'll now call for a vote. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, and that motion carries. We're appreciative of that. Now we come to the part of the evening where we have our board members report. I know last week or last meeting I started with our newly elected board member. Now I'm going to start on the opposite side at the highest district number. So that means Ms. Miller, you would be first. So Ms. Miller, you are recognized.
Thanks. I just have a couple of things this evening. I want to congratulate Lake Gibson High School's FFA team. The Citrus Center Development is what they won. They're state champs, so we're super excited for Lake Gibson. Also, if you watch the Lakeland Parade, Lake Gibson High School FFA float won the best youth and educational float. What they did was recreate, if you've been around Lakeland long enough, you know the Lakeland Cash Feed store that was over off of Main Street, I guess that is. They recreated that store, and it looked really close to what it actually was. And I'm excited for them to win that way out there in North Lakeland. So good job, FFA. Christmas is coming. I don't have too much. All the places I go is all over social media. I appreciate people being involved. I want to let you know January is National Mentoring Month. So if you want to start your year doing something right and something helpful for the community, we'd love to have you mentor students. That's available in practically every school. Please reach out to our department, to Jeanette and the people that do our volunteer work, or the school itself to see how you can become a mentor. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Miller. We're going to now move to District 6. Mr. Sharpless, you are recognized.
Sure. So I've got a few things that I was able to participate in since the last meeting. First, the Aerospace Center for Excellence. They had a Solo to Success ceremony. And wow, this was for all of the students that were able to do a solo flight, meaning no one else in the cockpit with them. They're by themselves. I would be afraid to do that myself, even with training. So I was really impressed with the students there. They all have a brick at the Central Florida Aerospace Academy at Kathleen High School, but also Winter Haven High School students were there too, because we've expanded that career academy. Was able to participate in the Great American Teach-In. That's something that comes around every November. I highly suggest and encourage you all to participate in that next year. But I went to Frostproof Ben Hill Griffin Elementary, where I was able to talk to some of their fourth grade students always great to be back talking to students. Also, last week I was able to attend the Florida School Board Association's joint conference with FADS, so all the school superintendents. Great environment. It's great to build a network of school board members that across the state, when we're having issues, I can call and ask them, because we're bound by sunshine up here, but with other school board members across the state, we can have those kind of conversations. We can ask, what are you doing to address this? And so it was great to get to again, expand that network. And the last thing I want to say, a big congratulations to the Fort Meade Middle Senior High School football team on winning the Rural Florida Invitational Tournament champions. So that's the second state championship in football that we have this year second for District 6. So I told you last time about Frostproofs, but I also want to wish the best to Lakeland High School as they compete in the state football championship this week. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Sharpless. Moving to District 5, Ms. Fields, you're recognized.
Thank you. I only have one item. I wanted to see if we could consider Superintendent Hyde having representation at the Martin Luther King Parade that's coming up in January. They have asked that we have a couple of bands to participate in the Lakeland Parade January the 18th, and also if anyone is interested in participating, they are now accepting registration, and it's a big event for the community, recognizing the life and the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. So hopefully we can do that as we did last year. And thank you, and just Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fields. Moving to District 4, Ms. Wyatt, you're recognized.
Thank you. I want to give a huge shout out to Ms. Cummings, who sent us a list both by school and by time for every arts and culture event happening this holiday season. So if you have any evening in the next couple weeks that you are bored, let us know, because I can tell you a list of 4 or 5 schools having an event. So I'm excited to get to attend some of those, and would encourage all of you to go and go to some of your local schools events as well, because as we got to see tonight, just a taste of the incredible talent we have in our schools. So as this is our last meeting before the holidays, I wish everyone a Merry Christmas and look forward to seeing you next year.
Thank you, Ms. Wyatt. Moving to District 3, Mr. Nolte, you're recognized.
Thank you, Dr. Allen, and I too would like to congratulate Fort Meade on their awesome football season, and Lakeland is having another outstanding season, and hopefully they'll take care of that this weekend coming up. Thank you for all our athletes. They're just doing a great job, and thank you for all the physical education teachers and coaches and fans and everybody that supports the programs. I'd also like to let us not forget the real reason for the season and count our many blessings. May God bless our teachers, students, administrators, paras, secretaries, bus drivers, custodial staff, and all the employees of Polk County. Remember, take time to relax and recharge with your family and friends. Prepare to come back better than ever in 2025, and I wish you all a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy New Year. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Nolte. Moving to District 2, Mr. Keys, you are recognized.
Thank you. Want to kind of second what my colleagues have said about the events going around the county. I think we are blessed immensely in Polk County to have arts infused in the education, and I have already attended 2 events across the county on winter performances, and I can tell you the talent that we have within our district is absolutely amazing. These kids pour so much into these programs, and if you have the chance as a public to go out and see some of these events, please do. A little side item, sort of a selfish one. I want to congratulate my own daughter, Kaylin Keys. She got the lead role in Annie for the spring production at DSA, so we're thrilled about that. And I say that as coming off that comment about supporting the arts. Please, if you have an opportunity as a public to go out and support these events at these schools, please do. The joy that comes out of these children's eyes as they see a full auditorium and folks cheering them on does an immense amount of help to them. So thank you, everyone, for that. And same thing, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Thank you, Mr. Keys. And I'll end with just a couple comments. I want to say congrats to our athletic director, Dan Talbert, who leads our athletics. He's going to be traveling very soon to Austin, I believe, for their national conference with ADs from all around the United States. So he has a lot to brag about with our athletics. So that's pretty exciting for him. Congrats to Principal Duget at Lakeland High School and his win as far as his team as well, and the coach. Triple overtime. We were just coming off of FSBA that day, and I already had a event planned, so I could not get to the game that night. But I was very detached from what we were doing. My wife's like, "No, you've been gone for 4 nights. You got to be with me." So I've got my phone out, and I just keep refreshing throughout the night. And wow. So, you know, and then today earlier down the hallway, speaking to Dan Talbert, I was asking, hey, any board members going to be able to swing the game on Thursday? Because I'm just trying to look at my schedule, see if I can break away. But then he's like, no, don't go. So Superintendent Hyde apparently was at the game, and I knew he was going to the game on Friday night. He was there all the way up until halftime. And, you know, obviously at half, we were not looking good. So he left. Right? When he left, what happened? The game completely transformed. So he had expressed interest to go to the game on Thursday, and Dan Talbert's like, no. Well, actually, I think it was your wife that said, nope, that would be a curse to our team. So anyway, I thought that was a funny comment by our athletic director. So we're hoping for a big win and a way to celebrate on Thursday. And then I just want to mention also the CFAA event. I was there with Justin Sharpless as well. I mean, it's incredible to see the brick. They actually note their solo, what plane they were on when they did their solo. It's a really unique event. But I ran into Mr. Z, and I don't know if you know Mr. Z, but Mr. Z basically leads our group of students who traveled to Poland this summer. And we had a student that competed in the international glider competition. And I mean, this is incredible. This is like the Olympics in a sense of glider competition. And one of our CFAA students was there in Poland competing. And it's really incredible. But his story is really intriguing because his dad is a pilot. And I think they were in Sarasota County and literally saw a TikTok vid of CFAA. And I think it was within just a couple week span of time, ended up selling, like putting their house on the market. They sold their house, moved to Polk County so their child could attend, or their student, young man, could attend CFAA. And I mean, it's just really a fascinating story. And then for that student to actually travel to Poland and with a group of our students from CFAA as well, and to compete internationally, incredible. So we've got some, I mean, world-class leaders in our classrooms and across the county. And then lastly, I was reflecting on my time at FSBA this week, flurry activities and so forth. But one of my favorite sessions was seeing one of our students that was selected to represent Polk County. There were 4 students, and it was a student-led panel. And Andrea Messina, the executive director of FSBA, had a slew of questions that she threw towards the students for us school board members to hear what students were thinking on particular issues. So we had a student there, Sanaya Pierre Giles, I believe is how you say the last name, and she's from Lake Region High School, and she came in so prepared, like her documents were so thick. I mean, that room, I don't know if you can imagine, but school board members from all around Florida were present, and just a large-scale room. All the superintendents, I'm not sure how many were present in the room or not, but it was a big room. I sat in the front, and then when I stood up, turned around at the end of the session, I'm like, whoa. I mean, that was a big room, full. So it was really cool to see. I think when we interacted with her at the beginning, you know, she was in her Lake Region garb, and she's an athlete, basically center hitter for their volleyball team. And, you know, she was proud to note some of her accomplishments out on the court and set some records as well. But yet, when she was up there speaking, she didn't note that at all. Just such a humble spirit about her. But I was really drawn to the fact that she wanted to talk about her cello work that she takes part in. So she didn't really focus on her athletics, but she focused on her art, in a sense, and her music, which was really cool. And I think they go hand in hand. So we do, again, have incredible artists. around our district as well. Students that graduate in our programs and actually go off to college and are phenomenal artists. I mean, top tier artists, painters. Yes, and I'm talking about your daughter. And incredible to see her work hanging in the Melvin Art Gallery at Florida Southern College. So that's my comments for tonight. Great to be here. And we will now move on to public comment. So, maybe? What's up? Oh, gotcha. All right, so next up on our agenda is public comments addressing items not on our agenda. So thank you for your patience. As noted earlier, to register to speak, community members, you've got to fill out one of these cards in the lobby prior to the meeting. All speakers will be given 3 minutes. The light will turn yellow when you have 1 minute left, and you'll hear a beep when your time is concluded. Please note that although the board encourages community participation, no immediate action is going to be taken on that tonight. And if follow-up board action is required, then that matter may be placed on the agenda at subsequent meeting, a subsequent meeting in accordance with school board policy. I appreciate superintendent and his staff always being accessible when we need to address something immediately that comes to us. So if that's the case, we'll look to superintendent for that. So I have a list of individuals who have signed up to speak today. So could you please come forward when I call your name, state your name and address for the record, and then you'll have those 3 minutes to speak. First of all, and we do have on deck as well, you can see the red line, so that secondary person that I call, if you can come and be prepared to speak as well. So Victor Chandler, you are first to speak tonight. And then on deck would be Billy Townsend. So if you can speak and come up to the red line there, Mr. Townsend, and be ready to go. And Mr. Chandler, you are recognized.
Oh, Victor Chandler, Eagle Lake. Well, first of all, I gave you a salary schedule, that you can look at and see for board members. If there's anything you want to ask about it, give me a call. But I'd like to say 50 years ago, the salary schedule of teachers only had 17 steps. All teachers that started at age 21 reached the maximum salary by age 40, before 40. All teachers are retiring with 30 years experience had their retirements based on the maximum salary. Today, the salary schedule of a teacher has over 70 steps. And a teacher starting at age 21 should reasonably expect to reach the maximum salary of a teacher by age over 100 years old, considering they don't get a step every year. Now, adjusted for inflation, the pay for a teacher and their retirement is far less than it was 50 years ago. But when you look at superintendent, board member, some members of senior management, it is far greater than it was 50 years ago. How did this happen? You use methods of calculating a raise that weren't the same. And when, for instance, you might tell teachers, I'll give you an example that I know of, told teachers that they got a 2% raise. Did their average salary increase by 2%? No. Not even 1%. Did the salary schedule, beginning salary, maximum salary, any number on the salary schedule increase by 2%? No. And you know it. You've been given that data. The problem is what happened over the decades in the past. This is not like Nevada, where what happened in the past stays in the past. Well, what happened in the past doesn't stay in the past. It affects now. It affects teachers' retirement and their pay. I'm asking you to have every single position in Polk County be placed on a salary schedule that you follow. And that is not true today, nor has it ever been true. And unfortunately, that caused a separation for pay for different groups. All groups, secretary, I'm not just talking for teachers, secretary, anyone, principal, assistant principal, all of them have a right to get their fair share of the money. And to do that, you've got to have salary schedules that you follow. And you know that you don't do it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chandler. We have Mr. Townsend up, and then on deck we have Tony Montagna.
Hi, everybody. Billy Townsend from Lakeland. It's great to see Victor still down here fighting the good fight. It's good to see you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to take a moment to commend the superintendent and staff for creating competition in what is likely to be $100+ million high school project in East Polk. No vendor should be able to sole source such a massive and crucial public expenditure based on their connections. I urge you, Mr. Superintendent, not to yield to the obvious political pressure on display during the September 2024 work session. Mrs. Cunningham's publicly expressed contempt for competition at the September 24th work session was particularly egregious behavior, but she is no longer with us here. Thankfully, she is now free to prepare for her upcoming ethics violation hearing. Hopefully, Mr. Keys will represent the people of Polk County more honorably. But I certainly hope Chairman Allen and Board Member Sharpless have not saddled the district with a cone of silence lawsuit.
Mr. Townsend, if you can just direct the comments to me and not target individuals.
Well, I thought I was. Sorry. I certainly hope the chair and other board members have not saddled the district with a cone of silence lawsuit with their September 24th behavior. As a taxpayer, I don't want to pay for their carelessness or bad faith. Both members should consider recusing themselves from the upcoming decision. Both have large political debts to one of the vendors. At the very least, they should publicly acknowledge the political contributions they've received from people associated with that particular vendor. That would provide taxpayers and voters full context for their behavior on September 24th. And in any event, I just want to conclude by, again, applauding the district staff for looking out for taxpayers in this matter, even when the board members make that difficult. I want to add, you guys really should accept the union's offer. You're behind. Hillsborough County just approved a referendum that's going to certainly recruit many of your best people away. We tried to work on this 5 years ago. Nothing's happened. I would encourage you to get it in gear. Thanks.
All right, we have Tony Montoya, and then Wanda Miller is on deck.
Hi, I'm Tony Montoya. I live in Winter Haven. I am a 16-year veteran of Polk County School Board. I am consistently rated highly effective. I was rated highly effective on VAM scores only last year. I was denied to speak at last board meeting. I sent an email to all the board members -1 with no reply. So in case you missed it, here goes. I come from a corporate background where I was various high-level management positions from HR, loss prevention, you name it, I kind of did it. I made more in the 90s without a degree than I do now with a 4-year degree as a Polk County teacher in 2024. My husband had a small business that was very successful, which gave me an opportunity to stay home. I wasn't a stay-at-home mom, so this is what brought me to the Polk County School Board. I started as a Polk County School Board bus driver. Fast forward 10 years, 2 Polk County high school graduates, I decided to go back to college to pursue my dream career and spent 4 years in full-time college while I drove a school bus full-time concurrently. I stepped off my school bus one day and stepped into my classroom the next as a certified teacher. That 4 years, I took time away from my family and my friends. I graduated summa cum laude on time with my AA and my BS in education. 6 months later, I lost my husband unexpectedly to complications from H1N1. My life abruptly changed. He did not have life insurance. He was 48 years young. Today would have been our 31st wedding anniversary. Without his income, I had to refinance my house. I have no credit card debt. With his support, I also had no college debt. I also have no savings now. I live with just the basics, and I mean just the basics, meagerly at that. I'm one financial disaster away from losing everything my husband and I have worked our entire life for. I have no money for recreation, no money for emergency funds, no money for Christmas, no quality of life, with a 4-year degree, highly effective, loads of experience, and my question to you is why? I have a colleague that sits in the office with me who is my team member, greatly valued, 20-year veteran teacher, consistently highly effective, featured on Bay News 9 as an A-plus teacher this year, father of 4 and just qualified for food stamps. We should be ashamed of ourselves. My team, Polk County, and our students are going to lose him next year to Hillsborough, where he will immediately receive a $6,000 plus raise.
Thank you, Ms. Montoya. So we have Wanda Miller next, and then on deck we have Adrian Ford.
Good evening. My name is Wanda Miller, and for the last 6.5 years, I've had the honor of teaching math at Lake Gibson High School, the best school in Polk County. I transferred from Hillsborough County for a new start after the death of my middle child. I've had amazing support from my administrators, and I truly love being at Lake Gibson. However, after attending the bargaining meetings and observing the overall attitudes that your chosen representatives have had towards the financial plight of your teachers all over this county, I've come to the realization that teachers are not valued by this board or by our superintendent. Mr. Hyde, after the impassioned pleas of your teachers and our PEA president, you spouted many lovely words. I'm here to say that those words hold no currency with my creditors. They insist upon real money for their services. So it's with the heaviest of hearts that I accepted a position in Hillsborough County, where I'll be compensated for my 15 years of experience. Your indifference is forcing me to leave the school, administrators, colleagues, and most of all, the students I love. I implore you to do the right thing tomorrow in bargaining, or you're going to lose more experienced teachers like me. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Miller. We have Adrian Ford next, and then on deck we have Patrick Bentley. So Adrian Ford is not here. So we have Patrick Bentley, and then on deck we have Stephanie Yoakum.
Good evening, board members, superintendent. My name is Patrick Bentley, resident and staff member at your Portable City High School, Haines City, and IB East. I am here tonight to discuss the issue on all of our employees' minds, our salaries. I am a 10-year veteran here in Polk County, making just under $49,000 annually. Now I teach economics, so let's do the math that I go through when I teach my students how to budget. The average cost of a 2-bedroom apartment in Polk County is $1,600, with utilities about $1,800. After taxes, I bring home just over $3,100 a month. At that rate, my housing costs are 58% of my monthly income. If I try to save money and live with a roommate, which I choose to, assuming we split rent and utilities, 30% of my paycheck is already eaten right away. This doesn't account for groceries, car payments, car insurance, student loans, and any other mandatory bills I still have to pay before I get to have any recreation, which I do not. Ask any of your married employees how much of their spouses cover their missing incomes in their families. As a union rep at my building, I talk to staff nearly every day who ask me how they can tighten their belts, is Hillsborough worth the extra $6,000, and is their second job just a better option to be their only job? Every day, it gets harder and harder for me to defend staying a broke teacher. I love my students, I love my school, I love my profession, I love that I am a third-generation teacher. But this isn't tenable. We can't do this any longer. I've seen approximately $1 per hour raise over the past 10 years. We staff cannot continue like this. The students that you supposedly put first will suffer as more and more of us certified teachers leave the classroom. We have asked you time and again to prioritize taking care of your staff and budgeting around the one resource you truly cannot operate out with, our teachers. However, unlike Hillsborough, who is providing raises ahead of actually receiving their millage money 2 years from now, you continue to push back on even placing the millage on the ballot. I urge you to direct your bargaining team to accept PEA's package proposal, which will improve salaries and solidify your stance on a future millage. Please give us this Christmas miracle, Uncle Scrooge. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bentley. We have Stephanie Yoakum, and then on deck we have Ryan Hazinski.
My name is Stephanie Yoakum. I am the Polk Education Association president, as you all know. You have heard from several of our folks tonight ahead of bargaining that we are in a staffing crisis. And it will only continue to get worse if this board does not address the emergency at hand. You've heard from staff tonight that they're actually leaving and they have jobs lined up to start in Hillsborough in January. Lake Gibson High School, and I taught next to Wanda. Don't come at Ryan Van or that school when their geometry scores drop. Don't come for these principals or these schools when they don't make the scores or the grade, when you as a board refuse to do the right thing and put all of your resources. The $4 million in reorg should be gone. That's almost a third of where we're in the gap right now. Your money should be directed to schools, for the people doing the work every day to educate our children, my actual child, your children, and your future child that will attend Polk County Public Schools. If we don't address this now, in 2 years, we will have not just 700 subs, we will have 2,000 subs of people that are not certified to teach children. We barely have the bus drivers to get them to work or to school every day. If you truly want to see a B or an A district, you need to put your money into that valuable resources of teachers and educators on the ground that make it work every day. We don't need any more assistant superintendents. We don't need any more senior managers. While they have a function and they are important, the most important commodity you have are your teachers and your support staff on the ground. If I have $5,000 in my savings account, which many of us don't, I do not, and I don't pay my mortgage, and I physically have the money to pay my mortgage to make it work, even if I deplete my savings account, and when I lose my house, that's on me. Your teachers and your support staff are your mortgage. You need to pay them so that they stay, and shame on you for keeping fund balance money that you could do this in the interim to get us to a millage in 26. That's on you. Will this board be remembered for standing up for teachers and staff and students in this moment in time, or will they be remembered that they initiated and continued the mass exodus to other counties or even out of the profession?
Thank you, Ms. Yoakum. We have Ryan Hazinski, and then we have Captain Lee on deck.
Good evening, honorable board members, Superintendent Height, Ryan Hazinski, Tampa, Florida. Hopefully you all received my email last week. I had sent an introductory email to talk about what I was going to come here for tonight. So I am currently the Director of Protocol Relations for an enterprise-grade, institutional-focused infrastructure provider for blockchain technology. I was a former classroom teacher for 20 years in Hillsborough County. But I also, you take the teacher out of the classroom, you really can't take away the passion for education. And so I was approached by a friend and CEO of the ARC blockchain and asked to become the ARC blockchain education liaison. So the ARC blockchain ecosystem, if you've never heard of blockchain technology, I'm happy to have a meeting and kind of go over all this, go back to my teacher roots and give you a kind of a little lesson about what all this is. But it was founded in France in 2016 as an SCIC, which is like a 501c3, so you can think of us as a charity. And what we're trying to do is start various programs throughout different school districts. I'm from Hillsborough, so I went to all the contiguous districts starting in August, so I've been to everybody. Polk was last, but I'm happy to finally be here. And just to see how we can add value. We can create curriculum that could actually be put into STEM classes. If you have AP Computer Science students, for instance, we could do seminars on Saturdays to kind of let them know how they can start using their coding skills, because one of the nice things about the ARC blockchain is it's actually coded with TypeScript, which is a very familiar programming language. If you are a typical developer now, you probably have JavaScript under your belt. TypeScript is just a little bit more stringent in the coding that you can do. Had a lot of great fortune since I started this endeavor back in July. Back in October of this year, I was invited to a private dinner with Kathy Wood and some of the ARC Invest team. Turned out that she has her own philanthropic organization called ARC Educate, and Dr. Mike Grego, who is the former superintendent of Pinellas, is now the managing director. Now that he's retired, had a great meeting with him. So we're actually going to be collaborating between our organizations, had a lot of traction already in Pinellas. So I'm just here to kind of offer, make an introduction of myself, of the ARC blockchain ecosystem, hopefully to have future meetings. I'll be meeting with the board chair in Manatee tomorrow on a Google Meet to talk more about what we're potentially doing, because the ARC Educate is already doing after-school programs, and we're probably going to help roll out some of the blockchain technology. If nothing else, Florida has always prided itself on being a very innovative place. And with the coming administration at the national level, what we're seeing already is a very pro stance toward blockchain technology, pro AI. We need to harness these technologies here in Florida. We need to give our students a competitive edge, not only for the rest of the US, but the world, and we can do this starting right here in Polk County and all of Florida. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ryan. And next up we have Captain Lee.
Thank you. Good evening, esteemed members of the school board, district leaders, and educators. Thank you for the opportunity to address you this evening. My name is Captain Soprenic, and I'm honored to serve as the Operations Officer for Marine Corps Recruiting Station Tampa, which encompasses Polk County. Some of you may have received an email from my commanding officer, Major Sosa, and I just want to personally follow up in person with you about the unique and invaluable opportunity for your educators. The Marine Corps Educators Workshop, which will take place from February 25th through the 28th at Marine Corps Recruit Depot, Parris Island in South Carolina. So the Educators Workshop is an all expenses paid, unique professional development experience designed specifically for teachers, counselors, and school leaders. This program offers a rare, behind-the-scenes look at how the Marine Corps builds leaders, fosters resilience, and cultivates teamwork, skills educators can bring back to their classrooms to empower and inspire their students. Why this workshop matters to educators. One, enhance leadership skills. Through interactive sessions of Marine Corps leaders, participants learn strategies for inspiring and motivating others, skills invaluable in managing classrooms and mentoring students. Two, practical team building techniques. Educators will engage in hands-on exercises highlighting the importance of collaboration and communication. These techniques are impactful in the military and highly adaptable to the educational setting. And three, personal and professional growth. For many, this workshop is an eye-opening experience and inspiration that positively influences their approach to education. Educators leave the workshop with a renewed sense of purpose and the tools to face challenges in professional and personal lives. It's an opportunity to witness firsthand the values of commitment, service, and perseverance that we strive to instill in future generations. How can you help? I kindly request your assistance in sharing this information with your district's high school educators, counselors, faculty members, to further emphasize the value and opportunity all educators who complete the workshop will additionally receive 12 professional development hours, which can contribute to their ongoing certification professional growth requirements. Additionally, I warmly invite you as board members to attend and experience the workshop impact for yourself. This is a professional development opportunity and a chance to bridge the connection between a classroom and the leadership and character building principles we cultivate in the Marine Corps. If you want more information, we can coordinate an informational session or provide additional materials to help communicate the workshop's benefits. Our team is ready to assist in making this opportunity accessible to as many educators as possible. I do have some flyers. I'll leave them out in the front. The contact information's there. I do want to thank you guys for everything you do and everything that you teachers do. It's really important, so thank you.
Thank you, Captain.
Hang on. Please don't leave. Mr. Chair, may I?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for your service. Appreciate all that you do each and every day. You mentioned you are responsible for enlisted recruitment?
So enlisted recruitment, but additionally officers, as well as the NROTC scholarship. So it's a $180,000 scholarship.
Let me address why you're here tonight first, and then I'm going to get to my question. That's the reason I asked if
Yes,
I
sir.
could speak
Enlisted
to you.
recruiting.
We will absolutely share the information with our OTC programs and our school counselors, and we'll get everything out. But second to that, we actually had an interesting conversation earlier today about the ASVAB. So could I ask you from your perspective, because there's some changes in policy and practice, and we're looking to expand that opportunity for our students. Do you rely on that very frequently to help recruit and identify potential recruits, or to what extent do you utilize that?
So the ASVAB is a requirement for all to join. So out of 100 points, they need to score at least a 31. I'll say that I think the impacts of COVID and virtual learning definitely took a hit, especially on that generation from 2020 moving up. I do see the scores are slightly going up, but it's definitely a challenge that we have.
So definitely something we should look to invest in and
Yes, sir.
utilize.
And I believe, we do offer ASVABs at the school, and then a certain threshold that gets certain scores, I believe the school actually gets funding as well. So
Correct.
if the students do well on the ASVAB there, the school gets money.
Thank you. I'm sorry I put you on the spot, but I didn't want to lose the opportunity, Mr. Chair, based off our conversations earlier. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Superintendent. Thank you, Captain Lee, for being here. Board members, at this point, if we have no further business to come before us, I don't see anything on the speaker list at this point. This meeting of the Polk County School Board is now adjourned. Thank you.